You're listening to the Yin and Yang Show, a marketing and sales conversation with Lindsay Kelly and Brian Signorelli. Strategic and tactical advice about inbound sales and marketing.
Hi, welcome back to the Yin and Yang Show. Thanks for joining us. It's Lindsay, as always, the marketing yin of the show, and my yang friend over here from HubSpot, Brian Sig. How you doing?
Hey, Lindsay. I'm good. Psyched to be cranking out how-tos in our summer series right now. I feel highly productive.
I know, this is really fun. We're the whole rest of the summer, 10-minute snippets of how-to. So it's the summer how-to series. So a lot less banter, a lot more nitty-gritty. So let's nitty-gritty it up. We're going to talk about how to get your sales reps more engaged in social sharing for your dealership. So this is a great one because we did a dealer panel recently where we had 3 people from the office technology space who are actually using HubSpot. 2 of them were not even my clients. And one actually is more of sort of a partner in the industry, like they sell to dealers. So one of the questions they got was, how can I get my entire dealership more involved and engaged with social? Like, what do I need to do? And why do you need to do that as well? So, the quick why is because you need the social reach. So we literally had one client who got a $95,000 managed IT services deal because she shared one of the articles that she wrote on LinkedIn, and somebody saw it and said, I didn't know you guys did that. And there you go. So she shared that. Somebody in her network saw it. Perhaps he liked it or he shared it, and then his whole network sees it. And it's this whole web of people going out there. I even had, back when I worked at a dealership in Baltimore, I had a guy that posted on Facebook, I really want to sell a copier today, because he was a copier sales rep. And somebody that he hadn't seen in years from high school hit him back and was like, oh my God, really? Because I'm going through the bid process right now. Let's talk.
That's crazy.
You just never know.
Yeah.
And, I remember back in probably like 2007, sitting in front of a guy who owned an email service provider company. And they said, when did you first start taking social seriously? He's like, when one tweet got us a $130,000 a year deal. He's
wow.
like, just because we threw something out there and we didn't even have an organized plan.
So was it revenue envy that drove this business owner to ask you about how we get, our sales reps engaged in social? Or I'm sure as a good, inbound seller, you probably asked, oh, why, why are you, why?
Oh, no, it was, I got a bunch of questions from my sales guy because he sent out the thing that said,
okay, got it. So it wasn't, okay, got it. Okay. So there wasn't a chance to actually even understand the kind of why behind either. Right. I'm just kind of curious. I'm probably digging too much here, but tell me more.
Well, and it was a good question because it's something we talk about all the time. Like, you need your reps sharing socially, you need to get them engaged. So for marketing people, like I sat in the shoes of a marketing person inside of a dealership for 4 years. And it's very hard to get the reps and, sales leadership to really engage with this when they don't see the value. So one of the things that they're seeing now is that they are having more and more success stories like the 3 I just shared, and they're understanding they need to do it. But now it's like, well, what do I do? How do I do it? And one of the panelists actually said it's part of their sales activity now. They're required. They are required to socially share. So they go in and they share posts from whoever is posting on that blog. And what that does is that extends the reach of the blog. So I'm going to offer a couple of tips for some of the marketing folks out there who are like, how am I going to get these guys to share this? This is what we do with some of the folks that we work with. We actually create inside of HubSpot. Now, if you don't have HubSpot, it can be Unbounce or whatever you want to use, like a landing page of some sort that your sales reps can bookmark. And so they can go into that every day and kind of peruse through and see what's on this page. But it's basically, we'll put an RSS feed for each of the different product lines that we serve. So we have a copier page, a document management page, managed network services page, so on and so forth. And for each one of those, we put a link to the landing page for all of the assets. We put the RSS feed for all of the blog posts that are related to that. We've got reps who are focusing on, print production, and they need to, they're like, well, I'm going to send some blogs out, or I even need something that I can put into an email. They can go to this particular landing page, and you can gate it. You know what I mean? You can put a password on it, something easy for the sales reps to remember so that it's not, all these people coming in and looking at it. Not that that would be a bad thing by any stretch, but we make it more private. And you've got everything right there. And so what we recommend is, you don't have to be sitting there on LinkedIn all day long. You come in the morning, spend 10 minutes, peruse through a blog, shoot it out there on your network, follow up on comments, and bam, you're done. So,
that's actually how our CEO Brian Halligan spends his own time when he talks about kind of his morning routine. Part of it is just opening up his social inbox inside of HubSpot and actually just looking through his feed and kind of like sharing, engaging, so on and so forth. And I think, that's a really good point that I think a lot of people get lost in thinking, oh crap, I've got to have these social networks open all day long. How are they going to sell, if they're on these, in these tools like minimum Twitter and LinkedIn, or maybe even just LinkedIn, how are they going to do this if they're in there all day? I don't want them doing that. Like, where's the sales activity really happening? So it's not about that. It's just, I'd say maybe 10, 15 minutes beginning and maybe end of each day, or even just the beginning of each day. And then tools like HubSpot are going to help you with going dark here, obviously. There we go.
For those of you who can't see the video, it's like he's competing with sunlight behind him.
Yes, dark shadow. Exactly. And then there are ways, and HubSpot is just one tool to do this, or others that do this as well, that will notify you and alert you as certain kind of keywords, for example, that you're tracking, come up even relative to the prospects that are assigned to you, which I think is actually a pretty cool feature inside of the HubSpot social media monitoring tools. Yeah.
And those tools are great. Most of our folks don't have access to them. So you really just have to jump into to LinkedIn yourself. But, ask your marketing team, ask your, maybe there's a sales administrator who can help you set up pages so that you guys can easily, sales reps, get to this information. Spend 10 minutes in the morning, post that. Set up Google Alerts if you can. You just set up a Google Alert, and it could be all about, HIPAA compliance. Maybe you share, some random HIPAA compliance piece that's educational if your target is that. And you'll be surprised. You're going to turn yourself into an industry expert right there, because, we've had Larry Levine on the show multiple times, and, he is the expert on how to sell using LinkedIn. He's not a LinkedIn expert. He's an expert on how to sell. And he positions himself very well. He's always coming up in people's feeds. Now, he does live in this tool all day long, but reps, you don't have to live in this tool all day long. You can go in, spend a few minutes each morning, and look at that.
So one quick question for you I was thinking about. So I love how you're talking about the proactive enablement and helping reps kind of help themselves and getting them the content they need without creating a ton of undue stress or work added into their day. That's awesome. There are passive ways to get reps to engage in social as well. So for example, one tool that comes to my mind is a tool that I think we've used on and off at HubSpot for a while called Gagalamp, which is a tool basically that allows the entire, not just the sales team, but the entire company to connect all their social media accounts into this one tool, so that one administrator basically publishes one message, and that goes out across the 2,000 HubSpot employees. So it's just one message out through 2,000 basically individual social networks. Any thoughts or opinions on tools like that, or do you think that that's kind of like cheating?
When you're as big as you guys are, I think it's fine. These are, 20-person sales teams. They can sit there and share. And I will say there are some that we help, like we'll go in and post long format posts for some of our people. Mm-hmm. And if you're not familiar with a long format post, when you go into LinkedIn, it's kind of like a mini blogging tool that you can go in and write your own blog post. So we actually do that for some leaders inside of our industry. But I would rather have the reps in there looking to see also, like, because they don't have a lot of time, and sales are always crunched for time. I'd rather have them spend 10 minutes perusing through and seeing what kinds of blogs we have than having somebody do it for them.
I also like the idea. I mean, frankly, I do like the idea of forcing education on somebody to say, look, there are tools out there that can auto-publish all of this. They're not cheap. And we can ensure that you're going to be super lazy about everything you do, or you can actually learn something. Take 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We'll curate all the content for you. All you have to do is just peruse it, read it. Heaven forbid, so to speak, that you'd learn something from that. And I think,
right.
Creating that learning culture that's actually going to help them have better conversations with their prospects and customers anyway.
Right.
There's a lot of value in. So, just thought I'd bring it up, that the idea of gag lamp, because I first time I saw it, I was like, wow, that's really cool, but it also feels like total cheating. So yeah, just curious to get your opinion on that, and whether or not there were other tools or kind of tricks, so to speak, people are using in your industry.
No, there's no tools and tricks. We use HubSpot.
Yeah,
we use HubSpot for our customers.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go in and we look at the inbox. We make sure that we're engaging with people who say anything to us or like us or comment on something. And then we want to encourage the reps to do the same, because they will get that email notification. So yeah, but for all of you, marketing folks out there beating your heads against the wall, trying to get sales to share this stuff, make it really easy for them by creating that page. And then you can even set up, if you have HubSpot once a week, set up a blast to go out to the sales team with the week's blogs on it, and say, share this. But your biggest challenge is going to be, you're going to create all this stuff and nobody's going to use it. And this is where you need to be able to say, look at all this great stuff, C-level team. We need your help to get this incorporated into sales activities, because it's that important. And they the one group, West McDonald, is with Print Audit. In our industry, they do NPS, and they're absolutely the leaders. And HubSpot and reporting and social and all of the different metrics that they have is part of their meeting that they have. And every sales meeting they have, they go through this stuff. And that's a big deal too.
That's one thing. This is like kind of a random side note, I guess, but I think it's an important one, for anybody listening in who's a business owner or a leader at your company. Do not underestimate how much influence your own behavior has in your team.
Absolutely. Yep.
What you do, Mark Benioff is a huge proponent of this. Sheryl Sandberg is a huge proponent of this. I'm sure many others are proponents of this as well. Leaders lead by doing, and what you do when you show up, when you use certain tools, when you put emphasis on social, just simply doing that yourself is going to create a higher likelihood that the rest of your team is going to do as well. It's not this mountain that you're going to get all its objections. You may, but one of the easiest ways to get buy-in from a team is to basically take it seriously and do these things yourself as well.
Perfect. Absolutely. It's a great point, Sig. So, and we've seen it with our clients. We've got, some presidents who are engaged and they're constantly posting stuff. And so I see their reps posting stuff too. Plus you go out there and you say, hey, so-and-so is sharing this. Why don't you go and like it? Because he's the boss. It's a good idea.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
So yeah, that was the quick how to, get your sales team, more engaged socially, getting them sharing out this valuable content that y'all are creating. And we went a little over on this one, but that was a fun one. So, all right. Well, as always, you can find Brian Sig at Inbound Seller on the Twitters. You can find me at LV Kelly with an EY. And folks, until next time, keep the conversation going.
Yeah, keep talking.
You've been listening to the Yin and Yang Show, a marketing and sales conversation with Lindsay Kelly and Brian Signorelli. Join us online at yinandyang.fm.